Welcome to 2018. Deborah Leanne here, and I am so delighted to share with you the new theme, the new evolution of me and my work that doesn't really have a name yet, so we're just going to go with theme, and it's on the magic of your authentic leadership. It's about what happens when you truly step into the most you that you can be, the highest and best 2.0, 3.0, 10.0 version of you. For me, I feel like I just passed my 61st birthday, and so I'm at the 61st version of me, or maybe even more. So I'm coming fresh off of a few weeks of deeply immersing myself in quiet, in a lot of solitude, in an opportunity to back away from the noise that social media and the news and a lot of our fast and furious culture throw at us, and in turn to listen more deeply to what wants to come through. And I think that I'm going to make this an annual practice. It doesn't maybe have to be 2 weeks long each time, but I do want to continue moving in this direction as I tap more into what it means for me to be in my magical space, in my the power that I get from being in magic. The first way I want to just start introducing this whole topic of what do I mean by magic and what do I mean by leadership magic is there's a power that happens when we bring together and align our intuition and our intellect, our heart and our mind, our physicality and our divinity, our feminine aspects and our masculine aspects. And typically we look at the word power as being defined by strength and force. And we look at it as the power to win a war, or the force that creates that energy to make something happen. It's a very physical, sometimes violent, sometimes aggressive connotation that many of us have with the word power. I didn't realize that, but for many women, power is something to be feared. And it's not something that they want to necessarily take on because they don't want to be that aggression, militaristic, masculine version of power. And yet even our masculine, our brothers, and many men on the planet right now are shifting into more of their feminine, just as women are beginning to shift more and more into our feminine. And what I want to point out is when you talk about feminine power, it's internal, it's unseen, it's the nurturing, holding the space, bringing together the forces, weaving together the ingredients that create something that has never been created. It is, if you think about being pregnant, you don't see the baby for 9 months, but all the magic that's going on inside during that time can be likened, and it used to be in ancient times, as magic. So feminine power is the closest thing we can describe it is magic, because it's unseen. And we know there's a lot of science and quantum physics that has to do with the unseen. And I just want to leave it at this moment that we may not understand it and we may not be able to see it, but feminine power has a very real energy. And when it is turned on and turned up and channeled wisely, we can do amazing things. We can co-create and amp up the synergy to shift this planet. And that's what I'm calling forth in every one of you, and whoever's listening and whoever's not listening. And to get to that place, we're not designed to do it on our own. We're not going to be able to read a book and get there. We need to have soul sisters. We need to have a community of sisterhood. We need to have a community of brotherhood. We need to come together in a way where we can share and grow and stumble and fall and be helped back up and supported as we play in what it means to be powerful in a feminine way. So to take this a little bit further, there's various aspects that we're going to be talking about this January, and they have to do with the power that comes from having a vision, and the power that comes from being open to discover, the power that comes from being open to possibilities and hanging out in that space of potential. Because if we spend so much time truly listening and hanging out in what's going on now, what the news is telling us, all of that is old. It's past tense. And if we really are taking our visions into the future, we need to be hanging out in the future possibilities and potential. The more we talk about what has been and what has happened up until now, it will drag us back into creating more of the same. And I think we're all ready for change. I might be speaking out of turn there, but I don't believe that's true. So I think since we're all looking for change, the next piece to this power is trust. And this is one of the hardest things in the world. We are not a very trusting culture by nature. And women especially have found that it's harder and harder for us to trust others, to trust men, to trust colleagues, to trust even our families, to trust the media, to trust, most importantly, ourselves and our power. To trust in it and believe in it and have patience as we play with it and learn how to use it. And the last piece to power has to do with our presence. And by all means, this is not the least, but being in that space of timelessness and being in the moment of now, tapping fully into our power allows us to have a leadership presence. So presence has a dual meaning. It has I define it in a way of being present, which is a state of being, and then having presence, which is a beingness. It is a palpable when a woman is fully in her presence. And we're going to play a lot with that. I'm going to actually put together some videos on some exercises to use in those areas. So if you're wanting to play with your big vision, or even not knowing what your big vision is, but to get a little bit more clarity on what you want to create in 2018 and beyond, I invite you to connect with me. I'm doing a series of workshops coming up in the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and they have to do with shining. And we talked a lot about shine last year, which is really allowing your presence, your power to shine from the inside out so that others can actually see you as a beacon, as a leader, as someone to trust, as someone to, they want to support and connect with and be on your team or be on in your community. So that's where I'm at. I mean, leadership magic has to do with power and your uniqueness and awakening your courage and growing your confidence and on being a creator, a creatrix, and on shining your light and on stepping and living from a place of freedom and truly passionate, right? And knowing your strengths, really knowing your strengths. And again, presence is its whole chapter in itself. And then coming from a place of gratitude, even for the stuff that's showing up that we're not so wild about, saying thank you, because now I know what I don't want. And now I'm ready to see something different. How could it be different? How can I change my GPS? This isn't going in the right direction. Thank you for that. Or obviously, thank you for all the beauty and the joy and the good stuff that's happening as well. So I can have more of that, please. But it's a constant feedback loop. We get to create a feedback loop of, yes, more of that, please. Ooh, I want to turn away from that. That's not feeling right. So that's where the gratitude comes from. Positive and all situations, we find a way to be in gratitude. And lastly, but not least, is around you. And we're going to revisit. We'll come back through with vision and possibilities and intuition and the courage to dream big at the end of the year. So that's where we're going this year. It's pretty brilliant. I'm really excited about it. And I look forward to sharing more as it unfolds. And I look forward to connecting with you as you're unfolding. If there's some way that I can support you or mentor you, or you want to just have an ear to listen to some of the ideas that are floating around in your head, I do have I'm happy to meet with you for a consult, a free coaching session or discovery session, just to see if I am the right person, teacher, mentor, facilitator, to help bring that forth from you. So until our next time, I so honor you, and I'm honored to be a part of this changing and beautiful 2018 and magical 11 number that it is. This is a pretty powerful year. And it's also a powerful year because if you see the 2 ones, 2018 adds up to the number 11, which you can further collapse into the number 2. But 11 in itself, the double ones, are very important. And this is where I see us standing shoulder to shoulder in a way that we support each other. We're not leaning on each other. We're not pushing the other. We're standing full and tall, just like that 11. And it's funny because my clocks just all hit 11:11. So I bless you, I honor you, and I look forward to connecting more with you this year. Take excellent care of yourself. Till our next time together. Bye-bye.